Welcome to Ponchatoula Live, the show where we make it easy for you to connect with the people of Ponchatoula. I'm your host, Parker Layrisson, and today I've got a fantastic little show prepared because we're going to throw our usual model out the window and bring back two of the most popular, best viewed, best liked interviews or interviewees that we've had in the 100 plus episodes we've done this, and do our first combo episode in a while that focuses on school safety. So last week we had the Teacher of the Year. This year we have Principal of Ponchatoula Junior High School, Dr. Heloise Hayden, and Ponchatoula Chief of Police, Bry Layrisson. We're going to talk school safety and much more. So Dr. Hayden, Chief Layrisson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
You know, Bry, as you know, our mama taught us manners, so we're going to go ladies first. Eloise, why don't we kick things off with you sharing a little bit about yourself and your background? Of course, our viewers should know we have an in-depth, great, thorough interview where we talked to Dr. Hayden for a long time about her background. But in case you didn't get a chance to catch that and you're just getting to know her for the first time, let's hear a little bit from Dr. Hayden about her background. So, Dr. Hayden, please fire away.
I'm a hometown girl, so I'm invested in Ponchatoula. I grew up here. I graduated from Ponchatoula High School. I also taught high school, 10 years at Ponchatoula, 2 years at Hammond. I taught at Southeastern for 11 years, and then I became principal at Laranja Middle School, and I returned to Ponchatoula last year as principal of Ponchatoula Junior High.
Very cool, very cool. And most importantly, Dr. Hayden, I want you to know right off the bat that mom is watching. Miss Donna, thank you for chiming in. You know, I love you. Your whole family, y'all been so good to me, from your daughter and Wes and everybody, but it's so good to see you. And I know you must be so proud of this wonderful woman that you've raised, because if she can teach Chief Bry Layrisson at PJHS, she can do anything. So Chief, tell us a little bit about yourself. And if you don't mind, tell us about the first time you got to meet Dr. Hayden when she was Miss Hayden, the teacher at PJHS.
Yes, Miss Hayden was my freshman teacher back in 1994. And I got sent to detention the first week at school by Miss Hayden. So we've had a relationship for quite some time. And now she has to be very careful going to and from work, driving in the city of Ponchatoula. And I'd also like the viewers to know that 1994 was also very special because I was kicked out of the Key Club by President Parker Layrisson that year for not having enough service hours.
I think it's fair to say you made up for it since, right? So Eloise, you and I can't speed on the way home. We got to mind our P's and Q's. But I know at least one of us, you would have followed the rules anyway. Well, tell me this. We're here not to delve deep into your backgrounds because, as I mentioned earlier, we can get that in old episodes. Both of you have been on the show and thousands of people have watched your interviews. So let's just dig in right now to the time of year we're in. It's back to school. Dr. Hayden, my wife works with you at the junior high, so I know a lot about what's going on. But my guess is not everybody in the community is yet hip to what's going on in the school. So starting with you, tell us about Ponchatoula Junior High School and all the great things you have going there.
We do have a lot of great things going. We are starting new opportunities for students to get involved. One of the things we started this week was having greeters, so we're going to send that out to the students to see who wants to volunteer. And we have a faculty member who's actually training them on how to greet adults, and they're going to be doing that at ball games and trying to build in some positive relationship things for our students. We also started a program on our campus about February, I believe, to where we could assist students in a small environment who were struggling, and that was very successful. We call it our Pirate program. And then partnering with Chief Layrisson, we've had great success. Our discipline actually was reduced almost in half second semester.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, that's really neat. What I love about your school is it's constantly evolving in a positive way. I saw one of your teachers over here, Miss Vicki Dirks, last week, I think, and she was telling us about the Builders Club that was recently started, and doing things for pets. And there's just all this great community service in all directions, from folks who have been there forever, like Coach Chatelaine, who's, local fan favorite that we all love, to newcomers. It's just, y'all have so much, good things going on. And Bree, likewise at the PD, you guys always have a new trick up your sleeve, if you will, a new program to roll out. You're constantly recruiting talent. I think it's safe to say Ponchatoula Police Department is the most diverse it's ever been. It's the best educated it's ever been. It's the most experienced it's ever been. And that all comes from the top. A guy like you who would go back to school to get your master's long after you're elected chief, to go back to the FBI Academy and finish that rigorous training program, et cetera. So tell us a little bit about what you've got going at PPD.
Well, we're just continuing to try to move forward. We're doing a lot. I believe this will be our 5th year with a school resource officer at the junior high. We're the only department in the parish that fully funds a school resource officer. All the other ones are funded by the school board. So that just tells you what a priority it was to me. I've always been very passionate about protecting our children, providing them with a safe, secure, and positive learning environment. I did it for myself for 4 years. I was a school resource officer and a K-9 officer. So I've been there, I've done that. I know what it takes, and it takes a very special police officer to put in that position. We've had Lieutenant Donald Burton there for, I believe, the first 3 or 4 years. Unfortunately, he battled with some very significant, serious cancer. And we learned throughout that time, trying to provide officers to fill in the gaps for him, that it takes a special person. And I'm very proud to announce that TJ Gordon, he's just been certified as a school resource officer. He's a corporal of ours. He's also a K-9 handler. And he is very passionate and very excited for the new role that he's doing in the school year as we speak.
I love the point that you made there about how it takes a special person to fill that role, because you're spot on. And I love that you give Lieutenant Donald Burton his due. One of the most popular interviews, again, on this show. We've done over 100 episodes, and like the two of you, his is one of the best views, best liked. He's just a person that all corners of this community kind of know, like, trust, and basically love. And I think you found, I don't want to speak for you, Chief, or you, Dr. Hayden, but when he was battling cancer and had to miss, you learned how big those shoes were to fill, and you had some folks admirably try to step up, but none of them were him. But TJ, it sounds like, kind of is the perfect fit. You mentioned K-9 handler. I remember well from our youth when you were a school resource officer, you were also a K-9 handler, and that was so integral to what you could do in terms of having that dog on campus and being able to sniff out things that the humans couldn't do. So we're going to get into Corporal Gordon and all his, things that make him so special. But let's talk, if you don't mind, for a bit about the role of K-9s in law enforcement and in school and what they can do for us.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, they help protect the children. One of the most important roles of a school resource officer is to not only have the presence there, but to constantly be monitoring social media or tip 3 hotlines, and getting the information from the students, faculty, and staff, and just evaluating it. But to determine threat assessments, and if there's ever a threat there, the K-9 is a very successful tool that can help eliminate that threat. But they're also very successful in, deterring the students from bringing things on campus that they shouldn't. And it's not just narcotics. Now we have problems with vape. I mean, these dogs are also taught to detect certain types of weapons. So it's just a huge deterrent.
That's a great point. So, Dr. Hayden, I know that you are working hard as you lead the school to rebuild that trust between the students and teachers and law enforcement and the community. Would you mind taking a moment to talk about the trust that's required for this, village, if you will, to successfully operate with a healthy relationship from all those corners?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things I think that Chief Layrisson and we have a love for Ponchatoula and the people here, and we really want to see our community successful. And so one of the things that I noticed was that my fiance is law enforcement, and so we would walk through at the games, and the kids would come up and hug me on one side, and they were like, "I don't like the police," and it really made me see the value in having the right person at school to kind of build relationship with them, but also teach them about what the role of the police are, that they can trust them, and really those opportunities to build that with parents and with students. And so TJ has had a significant impact on our culture at school.
Thank you for sharing that. So Chief, tell us about TJ and how you knew he was the right man for the job, and what you expect out of him in the year to come.
Well, TJ's worked with me for a long time. He's got a great personality, like Donald Burton that we praised for so long. He's volunteered out at the high school as an assistant track coach for many years, and he was one of the ones that filled in temporarily for Donald, and he was really the only one that it just clicked. You could see the passion in him. I mean, he came to me, because I had to appoint somebody full time, and we didn't know who it was going to be. And he said, "Chief, if you need me there, I'll be there." And ever since then, it's been wonderful.
Well, as a community, we're blessed that he stepped up and that he feels that spark and that passion, because you guys have kind of pinpointed how important that is. I want to share another comment here, and Bree, sorry, this one's not about you. Dr. Hayden Tanis and Steve Warden say that you are intelligent, beautiful, loving, caring, and you love your students. So I want to thank them for chiming in. I think they nailed it. They got it right. And I want to share with you.
Working hard for an A. Somebody's kid needs an A.
You think? Well, hey, mom and dad are working overtime. That kid deserves that A+. But if anybody else is watching live and you'd like to comment, if you want to drop a truth bomb like that on Bree, we feel free to. But know that we have the ability while we're live here to share your comment. It's not just for moms walking in home like Miss Donna, who I'll put back up here. I just love looking at her. She's such a sweet lady. But it's also for other women I've loved my whole life and admired, like Miss Peggy Barringer. Miss Peggy, thank you for watching. The Layrissons, from Layrisson boys like Bree and I that are now old and bald, to our little boys and his little girls. We've never had a better friend in Ponchatoula than Miss Peggy Barringer. She's just wonderful. Spoiled my little boys with stuffed animals and just great. So thank you for watching, for chiming in. Our dear friend Ryan Griffin. Ryan and I served on the options board together. He says, "What's up? How are y'all doing?" Ryan, so good to hear from you. We really thank this. Oh, and wow, we now have royalty. The former Strawberry King himself, Lester Leroy Satoon. And he says both of y'all are doing a fine job at the school and the police department. And we thank you for that, because the Satoons, they know a lot about schooling and Ponchatoula, and couldn't come from a better, more credible source there. So turning back to our guests, I want to ask y'all about something that to me at first glance is very frightening, but it's something that we need to address and handle head on, and that is the possibility of gang involvement in our little community. Because I know from having family in law enforcement and school counseling, and long before Brandy got to Ponchatoula Junior High, she would let me know about how heavy gang involvement was. I know in Hammond it's really rampant, but what are y'all doing, to basically prevent gang problems from becoming a big deal at Ponchatoula Junior High and throughout Ponchatoula?
The first thing we're doing is working with all of our neighboring agencies to just stay on top of the intelligence that we have, working together. A big part of TJ's job is when he gathers information is he's got to follow up on it. He's got to confirm it. He's got to evaluate it, and he's got to try to stop the problems before they happen. So we've been very blessed in Ponchatoula. We have not had the gang problem, and we're just trying to do the best we can to keep it out of Ponchatoula.
And I say that TJ is very aware, and he's always watching, which I love, because I'm kind of always watching their eyes and seeing where they're going, what they're doing. But he's very aware of those things and very proactive. And so we're trying to build in some, if we think there's even a possibility of those issues, watching and building in some positive relationship building with different people. So we're trying to bring in, whether it's PBIS or social coaches and things.
Mm-hmm.
So we've given the kids the support that they need, or counseling, like with Miss Brandy.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, my wife is now a school counselor. She's got a background in social work and she's done everything from in-home counseling, the school settings and whatnot. But she really sings your praises, Dr. Hayden, in being proactive, like you said, to prevent problems before they arise, to, be sure that she has the time to meet up with her colleagues in Hammond, where you guys may be getting exchange students, or not exchange students, you transfer students, whatever y'all call it in the lingo. But kids these days are hopping all around. They might be at Hammond High one year, junior high, then whatever. And, it helps y'all get a feel ahead of time for who may be, associated with whom and just working in concert with police, et cetera. And of course, nobody's breaching any confidentiality or sharing anything they shouldn't share. But it's just, y'all are working as a team to prevent problems, and I really admire that. Tanis and Steve are back here with a comment to put police in schools. Thank y'all for sharing that. Bree, you mentioned something earlier that Ponchatoula Police Department is the only law enforcement agency in the parish that self-funds its SRO. Did I catch that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Well, I would take that to mean that you guys are having to use part of your general budget to put an officer in. So one, I applaud you because that's demonstrating it's a priority for you, right? Do you think we ought to have better funding so that other agencies can have more money to get more SROs in school? I mean, I certainly agree with Tanis and Steve that more police in and near schools is a better thing. But what are your thoughts on that? Beginning with you, Dr. Hayden.
Well, like I said, our discipline went down tremendously, and it's, the dog made a difference, of course, and kind of set the tone, and then the police. But again, it's not the show of force, but it's really about building relationships and teaching them
Right.
how to interact with adults.
Chief Layrisson, anything to add?
Yeah, for the parents that, say we don't need a police officer at our 3rd and 4th grader school, our biggest problem in Ponchatoula is traffic. So we need a police officer at every school in Ponchatoula just to help with the morning and afternoon commutes. Now, after that, as the doctor stated, the most important role of a school resource officer is building those relationships of trust and respect. These resource officers are serving as mentors, counselors, role models, and we're just building those relationships for when these children become young adults, they would have learned, accountability and to be held for their actions. And it's just helping to grow our next generation.
Yeah, well put. Well, I promised that I would get you two out of here pretty quickly today. For those of you that watch the show regularly, you may know that Chief Bry Layrisson has the all-time record for shortest interview on Ponchatoula Live, and we still have a couple minutes, a chance to actually beat that record. So I'm going to ask for final thoughts, and Dr. Hayden will give you, the first spot here. Is there anything else on your mind, on your heart, anything at all that you'd like to share with our community while we're here live on the show?
The biggest thing is really about rebuilding the trust with our schools and our police department. We are there for your children. We want to support your children. And so we want to create an environment that's welcoming. And there are things that we have to enforce, but ultimately we want them to be safe, happy, healthy, and learning.
Well put. Chief Layrisson, anything in parting comments?
Just to the parents, we're there for you. You need to reach out to us. You can reach out to TJ at any school. Just because TJ's assigned to the junior high, he goes to every school within the city of Ponchatoula, including our daycares. And if you have information, just let us know, because that's our job, is to get the information ahead of time to stop anything before it happens, whether it's bullying or vaping on campus or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, as a parent in the community with a kindergartner and a 2nd grader, I thank both of you because you're making this a better place to live. And Bree, you're right about the traffic. As an injury attorney, I can tell you, August, I see my cases spike every year because people, it's like they forgot over the summer how to act with a school bus on the road. So let's all of us do our part to keep the kids safe by, observing the law and giving buses their safe distance. And I just want to thank you both for all you're doing for the community. And we will close with a few comments here. Miss Donna is thanking you, Bree, for your support, Chief. And Miss Lula Owens, another wonderful community leader here in Ponchatoula, says, thanks, guys, for keeping our young people safe. Kids should not be scared of the police. And she is right about that. So to all of our loyal viewers, we say thank you. To Dr. Heloise Hayden and Chief Bry Layrisson, we thank them for their valuable time. And Ponchatoula Live will be back next week. Same time, same place. Take care.